Hi, I'm Judith Patterson. I am Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas, and I am so excited that you're joining me here today on YouTube. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make this card with the Sweet Strawberry stamp set. So let me show you that set real quick. Here's that set. And the technique we're going to be using today is the bleaching technique. Now, this is new to me. I saw Kylie Bertucci do this on her video a couple of weeks ago, and I'll link that in the description so you can watch hers if you would like to. She's from Australia, so has a fun accent. And yeah, let's just get right into it. I do want to let you know that Sweet Strawberry is a set that was first introduced in the January to June mini catalog this year. And that catalog is coming to an end at the end of June. So a lot of the products that were introduced in that catalog will be retiring. However, this stamp set will not be. It has been carried over into the annual catalog, which I love because this is such a fun set. Okay, so I'm going to flip the camera around and we'll get started creating. There we go. Let's take this off so it doesn't get in the way. Okay, so we're using basic white cardstock today, Granny Apple Green, and we're also using just a little bit of Designer Series paper. I've just got 2 half-inch strips here from the Pattern Party Designer Series paper. And that paper is in the annual catalog. If you host a party that has sales of $150 or more, or if you make an order yourself that is $150 or more, you can get that paper. It is a host product, so that's the only way you can get it. But it's a great set of paper. It has so many great patterns. Something for everybody in that one. Okay, so we're going to start with just an 4" by 5 1/4" piece of Granny Apple Green cardstock. And sorry, little interruption there. Got a little sidetracked. So the only 2 colors we're using today as far as ink goes is Granny Apple Green and Poppy Parade. So I'm using the leaves with the little flowers, and we're going to just stamp all over this Granny Apple Green to make our Designer Series paper for the background. I'm going to go put my reading glasses on so I can see what I'm doing just a little bit better. There we go. Close my ink up so I don't get it all over me. Okay, so I have this little container here that I've poured a little bit of bleach in. I'm going to open it up, and I have a blender pen. Blender pens come in sets of 3. There's 2 more in here, and they're double-sided, and they're all exactly the same. But I used my labeler to add the word bleach on just one end of this pen so that I know this one I've used for bleach, and I'm just going to keep using it for bleach. So I'm just going to dip it in my bleach just a little bit. Going to put my first dot in the center of the flower just so it maybe gets a little bit more bleached. And at first, you're not going to be able to see that anything is happening, but give it just a minute or 2, and you'll be able to see that it is bleaching the cardstock. And depending on what cardstock you use, I believe you come up with different colors. Now, I've only watched the one video by Kylie Bertucci, and I have made this card, and that's all I have done playing around with bleach. But I think this is something I will definitely be doing again in the future, just because it's fun and a little different, and I like seeing what color comes out whenever I do the bleaching. So for this one, I did test it before I decided what I would be bleaching on my card. So I knew that this is the color that was going to be popping up. Let me get that a little closer, you can see. So it's somewhere between a soft saffron color and maybe pale papaya, which is what I decided to use as another color for this one. But because of the color that was coming up whenever I did the bleaching, that's why I decided to bleach the flowers and not the leaves on this project. And it doesn't take long. You don't have to be, I'm not trying to color perfectly on these flowers. I'm just bleaching it really quick and making sure I hit every flower. And of course, if you want it to be bleached a little bit more, you can always go over it again. And you can see the longer the bleach is on the card, the more bleach the flowers are getting. I'm not getting my blender pen, I'm not dipping it very far into the bleach. I'm just getting the tip wet, just slightly. There we go. Oops, I forgot to do this flower. I got the center, and then I forgot to do the petals. Okay, so that should be the last one. Just give it a look over and see if I missed anything. Nope. Got them all. These two just haven't had time to bleach yet. And like I said, if you want to, you can go back over the petals or back over the centers of the flowers, just so that they have a little bit more color from being bleached, or less color, however you want to look at that. And like I said, I didn't go through and make sure that each flower was perfectly colored. I just did a little bit, and now I'm just wiping off the bleach with my blender pen. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to put the lid back on my bleach so I don't spill that and get that everywhere. That would be a disaster. Okay, so now I have some scraps of basic white cardstock. I have my Granny Apple Green Stampin' Pad, and I've got the pieces of the strawberry on B blocks, and the stems are on A blocks. So I'm going to start with the stems. And for the outline stem, I'm just going to I'm going to stamp straight on. And I'm doing 2 because I want 2 strawberries on my card. Okay, so for the inside, I'm stamping off once, and then lining it up over the outline that I've already stamped. And then I'm going to repeat that process with the strawberry. But let me grab my punch real quick. Okay, so you can see on the punch how everything is lined up. So I want my strawberry to be this way on the cardstock. So I want them upside down. So I'm gonna stamp full strength with my outline. Then I'm gonna stamp off once for the inside. And I like the way on these strawberry stamps, can you see the way it's shaded already without me having to do anything? It just automatically adds that shade because of the way the stamp was designed. I think that is so cool. I just dipped my thumb in my ink. I have a paper towel here, so I'm just going to wipe it off. Okay, we're good. All right. So now I'm going to use the punch to punch out my stems first. And I have seen, and I've even done this in the past, I have punched out a Post-it note and then lined the Post-it note up over my cardstock so that I could put the flower and the leaves of the stem, put everything just like it is here, and just make one punch and punch everything out at once. It's not my favorite way to do things though, so I'm just going to do it like this. I like to hold it upside down so I can see exactly what I'm punching and make sure that I'm getting my stamped image lined up nicely before I actually punch, just like that. Plus, I like to use two hands when punching because these suckers can be a little tough sometimes. Okay, so there's the strawberry. It's lined up nice. I should have cut this cardstock in half before I did that, but that's okay. That one's lined up good. I think I just moved it a little. There we go. Okay. So now let's gather up all the pieces that we're actually going to need. Most of these are trash. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue. I use lots of this glue. So handy. So I'm just putting a little bit on the stem here. I'm going to flip it over. Set that on my strawberry. Then I'm going to repeat the process with the other one. I almost did it backwards, which I guess actually you could do, but okay. All right, so there's my strawberries. So this little sheet, I used the wrong piece of cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to show you. There's a little tip on how to use the paper trimmer. So I want 2 3/4 by 3.5 inches. I can't believe I grabbed the wrong piece of paper. That is so silly of me. Three and a half by 2 3/4. I almost did it backwards. 3 3/4, 2 3/4 by 3.5. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is put just a small strip of glue over the edge of the Designer Series paper. And this sheet, this piece is 8.5 inches, not 8.5 inches. That was crazy. It's 1/2 inch by 2 3/4 inches. So it lines up perfectly with the bottom of this. And I'm going to let just about 1/4 inch stick out. The grid paper comes in handy right here because I can use it to line up both sides. There we go. That looks nice. Let's take a peek at our card here. Okay, so on this piece of paper, this is 1 inch by 2 3/4 inches also. I'm going to use the Granny Apple Green again. This color is Pale Papaya. Look how nice it looks with this. I don't know how well you can see those colors on the camera, but in person, they look really good together. Okay, so I'm going to just stamp Happy Birthday, You Sweet Thing in the middle of this piece of cardstock. Let's move these out of the way. Little nose edge there. So now I'm getting the Banners Pick-a-Punch. I love this punch because you can do 3 different sizes and 2 different types of banners. And I have on the back, I used a permanent marker to write the name of the punch and what sizes the punch does. But I've also figured out, so I want to trim this piece of cardstock just a smidge. So I'm using my paper trimmer, and what I'm doing is I'm lining the edge up here with the words. Hopefully I'm getting it pretty straight. Just running that through. I shredded the cardstock just a smidge, you can see. So I'm going to take my bone folder and just smooth that side out a little. Oh yeah, that looks great. So now I'm going to turn this upside down, and I'm going to use this banner. You see that? So I'm using that banner. And I'm just going to put it upside down so that I can make sure I'm getting it centered. And since it's not, when I trimmed it a weird measurement. I don't even know what I trimmed it, but it's not perfect. So I'm just sticking it in there and making sure on the back that it is centered up as much as possible. So it looks pretty even when I punch. And there you go. Looking good. Okay, so the next thing to do is let's glue this piece onto our homemade designer series paper here. So after I made this card, I was thinking about the video that I watched Kylie do the bleaching technique, and she was also using a flowered card, or a stamp set with flowers on stems like this, which I didn't even think about when I was doing mine. I did it kind of after the fact. I thought about it, but I just keep trying to think of, okay, so what other colors, what other stamp sets would be great with this technique? And there's so many, but I also wonder, what colors do the other cardstocks make? So if we bleach, I wonder if there's any bleach left in this. I'm going to bleach it just a little in the corner, and let's see if there's, I might dip it again, because I'm just curious now, what do all the other colors do? Okay, so I have linen thread here, and I cut 20 inches. We'll see, that might be a little excessive. I'm just going to wrap it around the base of the cardstock. I want it to go across the designer series paper, or not the designer series paper. I want it to go above the designer series paper on the basic white cardstock. I'm just going to tie a bow. And I don't know about you, but bows sometimes for me can be a little difficult. And it's totally okay that it's going sideways. That was the idea. I'm going to grab my paper snips, cut the end of that off. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to use the glue, and I'm going to glue down the strawberry. There we I'm going to go ahead and grab my Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm going to put those along the back here. And I'm going to put one across the twine, just so, or the linen thread, just so it doesn't move around on me a lot. The card base that we're putting this on is also Granny Apple Green, and it measures 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and it's scored at 4 1/4 inches. It's half a sheet of a normal 8.5 by 11 inch piece of paper. So all the measurements for this card are going to be on my blog today. And I will link that blog post in the description so that you can head over there, and there's the list of products used will be at the bottom of that blog post. The description, or not the description, the measurements and the instructions on how to make it. If you prefer written out instructions, they're all going to be on that blog post as well. So we're just centering this up on here. Now I'm going to use I'll use 3 dimensionals on the back of the strawberry. And I'm going to place this strawberry over the other strawberry. Just slightly over it. I don't want to cover it up completely. And this one I'm going to bring down a little and put over the linen thread, and that will help it also stick down on the front some. Okay, so now I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals for the banner that we punched out with our sentiment on it. There we go. The backing's off of these. And then all we have left, once I get this stuck down, the next step is to do the inside of the card. There we go. Okay. There's the front of our card. I think it's looking great. And you know, if you wanted to, you could add maybe some 21 to 22 in color jewels to the front of this. That would be fun. Use the Pale Papaya. Okay, but for the inside, there's another piece of the Designer Series paper we're using. It's a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 inches, and this basic white cardstock is 4 inches by 5 1/4, or yes, 5 1/4 inches. We're just going to put this on the side of this cardstock. And then I'm going to use the same multi-purpose liquid glue on the back. We're going to put this right here inside the card so you have a nice white space to write on when you get ready to send your card out. And if you wanted to, you could also add another strawberry here in the corner. That would be cute. Okay, so there we go. Another happy birthday card using the bleaching technique on this cardstock, which I think is super fun. If you have any questions, then let me know in the comments. If there's a card from my blog that you would like to see made, let me know and I'll see what I can do. If you want to know the measurements, the products used, if you want to see the instructions written out, all of that type of thing, the same card is on my blog today, and it has all of the information written down for you. So I hope y'all have a great day and get to stamp soon. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.